The moment I stepped onto the plane, I could already feel the eyes. I wasn't wearing anything outrageous, just jeans, a blazer, and my natural hair in a bun. But somehow, to them, I looked like trouble. The flight attendant didn't greet me like she did the others. No smile, no welcome. Just a tight-lipped glance and a quick check of my boarding pass. "Back of the plane," she said curtly. I raised an eyebrow. "This says seat 4A. That's first class." She frowned like I had insulted her. "That's not possible. Are you sure this is your ticket?" I handed it to her again, calm but firm. She scanned it and sighed. "Wait here," she muttered and walked off. As I stood near the door, passengers filed in around me, most of them white, most of them staring. I caught a few snickers, a few side eyes, and more than one whisper. I knew that look. I'd lived through it my whole life. The flight attendant returned with another woman. This one was older, stern, the kind of person who believed rules were meant for people like me. "There's been a mistake," the second attendant said. "You need to move to economy." I felt the heat rise in my cheeks. "There's no mistake," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "I paid for this seat. I booked this flight 2 weeks ago. 4A, window seat, first class." Both attendants exchanged glances. Passengers were now watching openly. "If you don't cooperate, we'll have to remove you from the plane," the older woman snapped. That did it. The anger burned through my spine, but I smiled. The kind of smile you learn when you've survived humiliation too many times. The kind of smile that means war without raising your voice. "Go ahead, I said. "Remove me. Just make sure the cameras catch everything." I pulled out my phone, hit record, held it up. "This is me, doctor. Naomi Williams, professor at Langston University. I paid for seat 4A in first class, and I'm being told to move, without reason, because I don't look like I belong. Say hi to the internet." The older attendant froze. The younger one panicked. "Ma'am, please don't." But it was too late. A man in a business suit stood up. "This is ridiculous," he said. "She's got a ticket. Let her sit." Another woman chimed in. "I saw her pass. It's valid." The murmurs spread fast. Someone behind me whispered, "Are they really doing this?" Suddenly, I wasn't alone. The captain arrived moments later, frowning at the commotion. He didn't speak to me at first. He spoke to them. "What's going on here?" "She doesn't belong in first class," the older attendant said too confidently. "There must have been a mix-up." The captain turned to me. I handed him the boarding pass. He scanned it, looked me over, scanned it again. "This ticket's valid," he said flatly. "I know," I replied. "You can take your seat, doctor." "Williams," he said, more stiffly than politely. I did, head high, phone still rolling. But that wasn't the end, because while the flight went on and the tension eased, I didn't stop the video. I posted it before we took off. Just a caption, "First class racism. Watch what happens when you don't look like you belong." Flying while black. By the time we landed, my inbox was full. Thousands of comments. Reporters, civil rights attorneys, the university dean. Even celebrities were sharing it. But it was the airline's official statement that made headlines. "We are investigating an incident involving a crew member's conduct. The pilot in command has been placed on leave pending review." The pilot. Turns out he had a long list of past complaints. Racial profiling, mistreatment, you name it. Mine was the one that made it public, the one that couldn't be ignored. He resigned a week later. The flight attendant was suspended indefinitely. And me? I kept teaching, kept flying, kept walking into first class with my head held higher. Because that day, I didn't just fight for a seat. I reclaimed my space. I didn't shout. I didn't curse. I didn't beg. I just recorded the truth. And that truth flew farther than any plane ever could. 1 week later, I sat in my university office. Sunlight pouring through the blinds, my desk cluttered with research papers and half-drunk coffee. The video had crossed 4 million views. Emails were still pouring in, some offering support, others sharing their own stories of being judged, rejected, humiliated. But it wasn't the views that stayed with me. It was the messages from young black girls. "You gave me courage to stand tall. I've been scared to speak, but you showed me how. Thank you for not shrinking." Those words mattered more than any headline. I never imagined a simple plane ride would turn into a national conversation. But maybe it was never just about that flight. It was about what it meant to take up space in a world that often tells you not to. It was about the discomfort people feel when someone like me refuses to be silent. And I wasn't silent. I was seen. There were days after the incident when I still questioned whether I should have just moved seats, taken the humiliation quietly, gone on with my life. But then I'd remember the smirk on that flight attendant's face, the way she looked at me like I didn't belong in a space I paid for. And I'd remember the look on the pilot's face when the world realized his silence had been complicity. People like me, we've been taught to survive by keeping our heads down. But I've learned that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is look up, hold our ground, and say no more. I wasn't angry for being told to move. I was angry because they thought I wouldn't fight it, that I'd be too polite, too afraid, too small. But I wasn't small. I was prepared. And when they tried to erase me, I pressed record. Because the truth is, no one can take your place when you stand in it fully. No one can silence your story if you tell it loud enough. That day on the plane, I didn't just get my seat back. I reminded the world that we don't ask for permission to exist with dignity. We demand it, with grace, with strength, and with the kind of quiet that echoes louder than any scream. I am Dr. Naomi Williams, and I belong wherever I choose to stand.